Now, I want to switch gears and talk about some of the stuff you've done outside of the ring. I know you've been very involved with various charity functions and have done a lot of work to help in the community over the years. You've recently gotten the chance to take part in something very special. Tell me about that.
Let me tell you, all my years in the business, I'm in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. I've been given awards and plaques and whatever. Like we talked about a minute ago, I was WWF Women's Champion. I've been main event in Madison Square Garden at the Mid South Coliseum in Memphis, whatever. All these accolades are great. Fine. What happened I think it's about 3 weeks ago now, for an organization called 100 Wrestling in Wynn, Arkansas. I was there as a special guest referee. The elderly African American lady walked up to me during intermission and said, "Oh, Bruno, I used to watch you when you were first starting out, and man, you always was so great. I was so happy to find out you were going to be here. That's why I brought my grandson down. He didn't remember you because he's only 12, but I showed him a lot of videos of you back from years ago, and he was so excited he wanted to meet somebody that was really famous like you, and the whole but he's autistic." She goes, he's nervous all the time, and the kids pick on him at school, and if there's anything you can do to make him feel special tonight, if you just walk down and get a picture made with him, if you could make him feel special, that would mean so much. And I'm looking, he's got headphones on, like you got on now, but his didn't have music or whatever. It was because the bumps in the ring and the music and the wrestlers arguing on the microphone.
Sensitivity.
Yeah, sensitivity made him nervous. He never cracked a smile. He was just strictly, stone faced, autistic. They don't have a hard time showing emotion. So we're having the match. It's a guy named Danny Dollar, who's a great guy, was the good guy, the babyface. And unfortunately, I don't remember the other guy's name because I never met him before. Nice guy, but the heel, the bad guy. We're in the ring, and I'm the special referee. I'm the big baby face referee, favoring Danny Dollar the whole time. And the other guy, works like he's mad at me. "What's wrong with you? I'll punch you out." Blah blah blah. When it was time to go home, Danny Dollar did the big move to the bad guy. Ba boom. When he went to cover, he covered him. And I said, "Hold on a second." I looked at the front row. I pointed at the autistic kid. I said, "Get in the ring. You make the count. Make the count." He pointed at himself. "Me?" I said, "Yeah, you. Come on, come on." And Danny Dollar and the other guy, they didn't question it. They just stayed there in a position. I said, "Danny, do it again." Because I didn't want the guy to lay there too long. It would look ridiculous, right? So Danny did the move to the guy again. I said, "Make the count, man." And the kid counted 1, 2, 3. And the person, the bell keeper rang the bell. Everybody started clapping. That kid looked at me with a face like of astonishment. I said to myself, "This ain't enough." I says to the bad guy, "You okay if we do it again? Let the kid cover you?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I said, "Danny, do the move again. Let the kid cover him." He did the move to the guy again. The kid covered him. I counted 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden, this stone-faced kid that never had an emotion all night was jumping up and down, waving his arms in the air, smile from ear to ear. I looked over. The grandmother was crying. I was crying. I can't speak for the other two guys. They probably were too. The whole audience stood on their feet, were clapping and hollering. This kid was jumping up and down. I told this to The Rock the other day. I opened up to him about it. He told me himself, he goes, and he's right. That kid will never forget that till the day he dies. I'm ready to cry right now because it was like I had nothing to gain from that. I'm not trying to get people to watch and say, "Oh, Bruno's great." No, I'm saying I had an opportunity to do something for a young man that's obviously had a hard life, has a hard way to go. And I had, I don't know how many people were in attendance. It was a, small little community center event, maybe 300 people there. But they all were standing up screaming and clapping for this kid. And he was smiling and waving his arms in the air. And I will never forget that till the day I die.
That is so heartwarming, to hear that, somebody that's going through something in their life to have their day, made by one of their heroes or someone that they look up to or someone that they uh, idolize, and to see the look on their face, to be able to
Right.
participate and be a part of something big like a professional wrestling show means the world. It means so much.
That meant more to me. Like I said, any award I've got, any championship, any Hall of Fame, any paycheck, whatever, that right there, to me, is what defines my career. That I was able to be in a position to do that. I mean, like I've got several personal heroes. One of them is Danny Thomas, who founded St. Jude's Children's Cancer Research Hospital here in Memphis. Okay, this is a guy that said himself, I've got the plaque in my other room where I showed to you, where he said, opening this hospital is the greatest moment of my life. He said something along the lines of, if I was to die right now, I could die knowing I accomplished what I wanted in life. He made a prayer. He was buried right here in Memphis. He's interred right there in a mausoleum downtown Memphis at the hospital. The flower cars were all over the place on Central Avenue in Memphis when he was buried right here in Memphis. He's a Memphis guy. He made a prayer to St. Jude, who's the patron saint of lost causes. Said, if I make it in the Hollywood, entertainment business, whatever, he goes, I'm going to open a hospital for children with life-threatening illnesses and diseases, and none of them are going to pay 1 cent for treatment or cure. He said it, he did it, he meant it, and it happened to this day. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is the #1 charity hospital in the world. Danny Thomas, that's a hero. That's a hero.